All right, so we're gonna put some of these together, and I want to start doing this. So here we will go with a block that's a little longer, and then we're gonna put our trapezoid right here. And we want to try and make these about the same size. You try and eyeball it. Then over here, we're going to make a longer trapezoid. All right. And by the way, if you still have to do this, there's nothing wrong with this. If you got to do this, keep doing this. It's okay. If you have to do this for the next year, don't worry about it, because the end result, once you start putting in your reference and you put your design on top of this and you put your form on top of this, that's fine. It makes no difference in my opinion. Now, if you're if you're probably going to work for, if you're shooting for working for some sort of AAA video game company, you may want to eventually really put yourself out there and speed it up a little bit. But right now, for your own purposes, just in this beginning, because let's face it, at this point, this is what, the second section. You haven't been working on this course for a year. You haven't, and that's okay. And so let's go ahead and let's interlock this with, let's do a triangle. Oh, I didn't tell you guys about the triangle. Oh my goodness, this is weird. We're doing this. Oh, we don't know. We don't know what's going on. And we'll do a triangle next. We'll go into depth. I just wanted to throw you through a loop a little bit there. You see that these aren't all the way connected, and I know I said all about the these are supposed to have like a little square, but they don't always. All right, so because you can plan and plan and plan and plan and plan, but then sometimes things just don't work out as you would like them to. All right. And so let's do this. Let's make one of these are larger, and make sure that whatever you connect it to is just a little bit smaller. That's it. Because this concept that I'm showing you right now works for both arms and legs, and we're doing these independently. So I'm using a more of a long kind of a bar here, and then I'll attach it with a smaller trapezoid. I like the trapezoids. That's me. That's what I like. And we're not so much worried about the proportions as far as this being absolutely even, because another way that we can make up for the proportions, I can just add a little bit onto here. I can add a little bit onto here, and then I'll put the foot on, or I will put the hand on, put my little abbreviation of the hand there. And it'll be just fine. So let's go with a block right here. And then we'll go with a shorter block, but this one will be just a little bit tinier. We'll do that again. Let's make a block like this. It doesn't have to be exactly like this. I just want you to get the general idea. Okay. Let's do a thinner one. And if it's a little rounded at the end, I'm not going to worry about that. We're not going to, don't beat yourself up over the little things here and there, because we always can correct them. And let's make this kind of a V. Like this. Okay. And let's do this. Let's go A. Let's make like an A or an upside down V. This will be our little abstraction there. All right. Let's make an L. So this one will be a bar. Let's make this one a more of a skinnier trapezoid. That's an L. Let's do a 7. We want to try and make these a little bit more. We'll make that a 7. And you see I made a little mistake right there and I just went over. It's not a big deal. Down here, let's just kind of make this just like that, a little bit more than a 90-degree angle. So that's a 90-degree angle. Let's go here. Let's do this. So make a 90-degree angle and go a little bit more past. Go that way, not in that way. And so now let's go ahead and do this. And then we will make a skinnier one like that. And then let's go ahead and go back and do this, because that's what I originally meant to do. Try to play it off like I didn't absolutely make a mistake by putting that in the middle, and that's okay. So let's try this again. So I got this line right here, and let's do something like that. And so now all right. And let's try something a little different here. Let's take a circle. Let's take another circle here and then make a third circle. And now let's do this with bars. Let's just do this with our regular bars. Don't worry about how far apart they are or whatever. Let's just go 3 circles. 1, 2, 3. Let's try it with a trapezoid. We're just using these bars as our guides. We can go over them. It doesn't make a difference. These are just the guides that we are using. And by the way, if you got to do this, then you do that. So in the long run, now I can't really necessarily do it here and have you see it, but if I were to do, let's say I did this, right? I did this and I connected these with 3 lines, and now I did this, and I put the boxes there, and then I put the other box right here, and then I went over them. It helps if you draw a little bit lighter, as light as you can. And drawing a little bit lighter can be a separate skill, because sometimes we are pressing way too hard on our canvas, paper, what have you. Let's just make this here. And then I want to just slightly turn this, just not even that much, to where it's almost just lined up with itself. And you're going to make one of them just a little bit darker than the other. This means that the little bar area that I'm shading in right now, that means that this is in the front because there's more of a line on it. And so now if we do this again and go a little bit lighter, and I want this one to be in front, so I'm just going to go over this a few more times. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to take this line and I can just go over that a bit more. We don't have to get really, really crazy with it, but if you notice, this automatically looks a lot more in front. So let's try another one right here. And then we'll try this one right here, and we'll make this one go in front. So we'll go over it a few times. And so the trapezoid and this bar that we've been doing, they're absolutely interchangeable. They can be. They're just a way of putting down some of the figure, the arms and the legs, essentially, is what these are. And when we start drawing from the mannequins and start copying poses, we're going to run into things that are not going to be as perfect as we want them to be, but we're going to fall back to our shapes and realize that we don't need to make super beautiful mannequins. We just want the proportions to be correct, because then the drawing takes place once we put the mannequin down, once we put these basic shapes, these basic forms. Once we do this, then all of a sudden we can just draw on top of it, and we can just express ourselves as freely as we want to express, as using this under this structure this scaffolding as a guideline, as our foundation. So I'm going to stop talking, and then I will see you in the very next video.